Okay, welcome to a class today on a topic which I think is very rarely mentioned in various grammar books and generally speaking by teachers, the topic of gerund or verbal noun. And I'm afraid that this is really tricky and there aren't many places you can go to find out information about whether a word is a gerund or a verbal noun. And it's really tricky to decide. Why? Well, firstly, a little bit of background. I want you to think of this idea that very often we have a noun, reduction. Yeah, reduction is a noun. But we also have a gerund form from reduction. We have reducing. So this is a noun, reduction. Reducing is a noun. And so what's the difference between reduction and reducing, if there is one? Or are they exactly the same? Well, they are similar. I would say they do actually have different meaning as well. They do. They certainly have different meaning as well. But the most important way in which they differ is perhaps that grammatically they work differently. And what do I mean? I mean these 3 points, that gerunds can take direct objects, they're uncountable, and they can't be modified by adjectives or determiners. And this becomes really important, especially with the words the and a. And this is why I teach this topic, because I've noticed a lot of mistakes simply because people aren't aware that there is such a thing as a gerund form or a verbal noun form, and that's because it's rarely taught. So let me go into a bit more detail now. The really difficult thing with deciding whether something is a gerund or a verbal noun is that sometimes the verbal noun looks exactly the same as the gerund, yeah? A painting and painting. Painting is the gerund and a painting is the verbal noun. Now, of course, they do have a different meaning. A painting is a picture on the wall. Painting is the activity of painting. Same for a drawing, which is a verbal noun. A drawing is a verbal noun, and it's a countable. It's clearly countable, isn't it? 1 drawing, 2 drawings, 3 drawings, 1 painting, 2 paintings, 3 paintings. And a drawing is just a picture, and drawing is the activity of using a pencil to form pictures. Yeah, and I can see I haven't written drawing over here, but drawing is certainly over here as well. And so sometimes the gerund and the verbal noun look identical, but they are different because drawing is an activity and a drawing is something you make. Yeah, painting is an activity and a painting is something you create. Okay, so that's one difficult thing straight off the bat. Yeah, that sometimes the verbal noun and the gerund look identical, and that is annoying. It is irritating. I wish they were all different, like reduction, reducing. Another example would be the killing. Yeah, the killing means the murder, whereas killing is the process of murder, the activity of murder. Yeah, and so they are different. Yeah, you might say the killing was extremely violent, meaning the murder was extremely violent. But you might say killing people will give you a bad conscience. Yeah, will make you feel guilty. And here we mean the activity of killing people and not a specific countable murder. So I'm really trying to drive home this point that these guys, the verbal nouns, are countable. And these guys, the gerund, are not countable because they describe the process in general.